Welcome back to round number 5, final round of Swiss. I have Arnie with me.
Hello.
I am Dennis. Arnie dropped because
Yeah.
he kept losing.
It was a wide guard match, and it was a matter of when to click Glacial Lance versus the Pelipper with wide guard. And I was trying to stall it out, and I counted wrong, so that's why I'm here right now. But you know who didn't count wrong? Sean Pinto and Joshua Denk.
Yeah, the players who, I think they're both at 3-1, right?
I believe so.
Sean with the Ursulina Blood Moon, Iron Hands, Farigiraf, Whimsicott, Ogerpon, Cornerstone, and the Miraidon, Terra Electric, Choice Specs, Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Discharge, and Volt Switch.
And we got Joshua on the right with that Rillaboom, Urshifu. This one is Rapid Strike, Raging Bolt, Chi-Yu, Tornadus Incarnate, and Zamazenta. And so I think the main play here, what's very interesting with the Zamazenta's Terra Dragon, that is specifically for Miraidons, as well as a few other things, but Miraidon is a good one because if you see they're locked into an electric move, you're just going to go Terra Dragon and avoid that. This one's also wide guard, so Discharge is not going to be an issue for Miraidon. It's going to put that Miraidon in a very difficult spot. Meanwhile, Miraidon does have a decent matchup into some of the Pokemon. Obviously, the Urshifu, the Chi-Yu, the Raging Bolt with Draco Meteor, Tornadus. So Joshua's got to position himself around that Miraidon.
I want to comment on this Tornadus for a minute. Bleakwind, Storm, Tailwind, Rain Dance, and Sunny Day. It has
Why the heck not?
It has both the one because you don't get Protect. Because you don't get Protect or Taunt if you bring both of them.
I'm actually surprised to see no taunt, but it does kind of make sense. I think we're starting to see Prankster taunt being phased out with all of the Farigirafs around. So we're going to see Joshua lead with that Urshifu Rillaboom and Sean with the Ogerpon and Miraidon.
And this is a nice opener. This Urshifu is Focus Sash, so everything will take a hit from Miraidon right now.
Yeah.
Although Urshifu is Focus Sash, meaning it'll also get outsped by Ogerpon if Ogerpon decides to go for that.
I think Ogerpon's probably in a good spot to switch or go for a Horn Leech onto the Urshifu. I believe Urshifu's going to attack, or possibly, yeah, or you could just Spiky Shield here and switch out. I'm assuming this is going to be a Volt Switch on Miraidon. I think it's just the right play, but... Oh, it's a Discharge.
Discharge. Pretty nice damage against both these Pokemon. It is Assault Vest Rillaboom, so it won't take too much there. Drops Urshifu down to the Sash.
And now we're just waiting on the possible of a paralysis here. Nope.
It would never paralyze.
Nope, it never does when you need to. However, we do see Surging Strikes come out to this Ogerpon. That's doing a lot of damage, and it is not going to be able to pick up the KO, though.
Barely not enough there.
And you turn from Rillaboom, switch on out.
I like that. Yeah, I think you want to make sure to maintain whatever advantage you have in the terrain wars. Because you already got... I mean, your Rillaboom is on much higher HP than it should because of that. And I want to comment this while we're waiting. Urshifu has Aqua Jet, so it can knock out that Ogerpon.
Ooh, Raging Bolt's a really good play here for Josh because you're able to just click the funny Draco Meteor button into that Miraidon slot. Will chip your own special attack, drop it by 2 stages. However, it's not a bad
switch
play.
out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sean, you could switch into Whimsicott, and but then that's not necessarily great. I mean, it's good, obviously, but you're not going to get that drop on the Raging Bolt, and then you're free to Thunderbolt. Although
you're
Raging
also not
Bolt,
knocking out the Urshifu.
Yeah, I was going to say, Raging Bolt, when you actually look at the mons that are on Sean's side, Raging Bolt was kind of a choice. It does not hit much at all.
It really doesn't.
I think it's specifically to just come in and snipe Miraidon.
I think so. Miraidon will hard switch out of there. Probably for the best. Iron Hand's coming in now. This is Assault Vest, right?
Yes.
Ooh, and Ogerpon will switch out as well, so the double switch there.
I think that's kind of smart. I think Draco Meteor coming into the
definitely smart because Urshifu is actually just gonna protect.
It's not bad enough. Don't want to. I mean, the switch was kind of obvious, and what else was it going to do? The Ogerpon. Very good read there from Josh, going for that target onto the Whimsicott. It did way more damage than I expected.
That was good damage.
But now there's fake out pressure on Sean's side and a very low HP Urshifu that probably needs to switch out. And so this is actually, I would say, a very nice position for the Zamazenta. Do have to watch out because Iron Hand does have Drain Punch, but with that being said, you're going to get a +1 in defense and recover with that grassy terrain. So I think not a bad option to go on in and just kind of Draco Meteor on the Iron Hand slot to chip it enough to where you can knock it out with Body Press. Or you can go back into Rillaboom. It's a little more riskier, though, because you're not going to be able to reset the terrain if Sean brings that Miraidon back.
Yep, and Raging Bolt going to take a big chunk from the Moonblast there and drop the special attack. Remember, this is Life Orb Raging Bolt, and that'll mean, not great damage on the Whimsicott there.
I'm assuming we're going to see the Drain Punch come out here from the Iron Hands, and it is into the Rillaboom slot. Predicted that Zamazenta switch, and it was just good play in general. It is going to recover not much because it is not chipped, but you're going to see the Grassy Terrain recovery on all the other
Critically,
Pokemon.
I think that Grassy Terrain might have put Whimsicott out of Thunderbolt range.
I think it did.
Which that's the the big downside of that special attack drop from Moonblast. That could end up being pretty critical down the line.
Yeah, you know what I really like about this team on Sean's side is it has a very defiant fast mode. You have two grass types that are pretty good into, really, if you want to take a discharge, if the Iron Hands could take a discharge, you have redirection with Ogerpon. It's just a very, very aggressive team from Miraidon, to the point where even you see Joshua's side, it's like that Rillaboom, that half health already, and Miraidon can come back out and just finish the rest of the team, knowing what's out in the back. And the Tailwind's going to help as well. It's going to help that Iron Hands at least outspeed the Rillaboom, make sure it has to, if it goes for a Grassy Glide, then it wouldn't be able to hit. But it didn't go for the Grassy Glide, and still will be able to hit because it survives that Drain Punch.
Drain Punch comes, not going to get there. Critical hit from the Draco Meteor, not going to knock out. Oh, I hope this is a U-turn from the Rillaboom right here. That'd be huge for Rillaboom.
It is.
It is. It's huge for Rillaboom.
It is. That is very big. And I believe, honestly, there's not a ton of good choices. I think that the Zama is the best bet, obviously, because you are still going to outspeed the Iron Hands with Tailwind, so you're going to be able to just get your body presses going right away, which is very useful. Whimsicott, though, now putting Raging Bolt and really anything in that right slot on Joshua's side at risk with that Moonblast. The Raging Bolt will go down, the Urshifu will go down, the only thing that, and the Rillaboom will go down. So whatever's on that right slot is going down to a Moonblast. So it's basically Zamazenta against the world, but I think it's best to conserve like your Urshifu and your, especially Rillaboom, for the Miraidon in the back.
Yeah, I think letting Raging Bolt drop is not a big deal right now, and you can even protect with Raging Bolt here, yeah, like that. Stall out an extra turn, let Zamazenta do Zamazenta things, maybe even knock out the Whimsicott while you're at it. We'll see what it goes for. It's probably better to go for the Iron Hands right now.
I would imagine the Hands is a better bet.
Ooh, and it is actually faster under Tailwind.
That is a speed-invested Iron Hands, or not speed-invested Zamazenta, which is probably more likely. I believe
See if Zamazenta's actually able to... Okay, it does go for the heavy slam against the Whimsicott. We'll knock that out.
I don't mind that. Especially with Raging Bolt being able to go for, like... I mean, looking at the Raging Bolt HP, it can take... If you position it right, you can take a discharge pretty safely, or Electro Drift, depending on what Sean walks into. This is a choice specs Miraidon, so it is going to have to lock onto a move. Ogerpon, really, I would say, a decent spot. I think Bolt here is now actually in a spot. I think you got to, if you're Joshua, you just... I would switch to Urshifu and then go for the hit onto Iron Hands. Ogerpon's not going to do anything onto your Zamazenta. You resist both Ivy Cudgel and Horn Leech. Iron Hands is in position. You can follow me, which I think is very solid, but then if that's the case, you can go ahead and lock into... you can go for the hit onto Urshifu, bring that in, sacrifice it, so you reset your Raging Bolt special attack drop, as well as being able to reset the terrain when Miraidon comes out. And if you could just get rid of one of these two on Sean's side, if you're Josh, you're like, okay, cool. Then I win the terrain wars. And we're gonna see that follow me.
I'm gonna see the follow me indeed. Drain Punch comes out again. Iron Hands is slowly recovering a lot of HP. You gotta keep that in mind that it is actually kind of saucing. This is the body press. We'll finish off the Ogerpon. See what the Raging Bolt decides to go for. Is it like -3 special attack now? Goes for another Draco Meteor and does connect. I thought I missed.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Now -5 Spadef or Spec Attack.
It was a decent play. I mean, why not chip a little bit off that Iron Hands when you know, obviously, that Miraidon's coming out? This is a very good turn to reset the terrain, I think. I think you could you have two choices of your Josh. You're like, okay, do I sacrifice my Urshifu because it can't really do anything here? And realistically, it really can't.
And I guess here's also a bizarre extra thing. You can double protect here if you want to scout out Miraidon.
You could. It's not a bad choice either.
Scout out Miraidon and also scout out a potential Terrastal, because you'd imagine that Sean's Terra comes out this turn.
Yeah. I actually think you protect the Zamazenta and switch into Urshifu though. I think if you
That's
can,
also an option because you get Raging Bolt back in later,
Yep. and even more,
Miraidon's in danger.
I think also too, if I'm remembering correctly, there's about 2 turns of Tailwind, so you protect and then you fake out.
That's the thing as well, where you have turns of Tailwind remaining.
Which I was gonna lock in here.
Turns of Tailwind that are running out, rather.
Yeah. Not to mention, there's one more really important information. If you're Joshua, you're like, all right, cool. I get to see what move this Miraidon's locking into. If it is an electric move, I'm Terroring Dragon on my Zamazenta. And therefore, you lose the weakness to Drain Punch, you lose the neutralness to Wild Charge, so Iron Hands can't do that much. Obviously, this Miraidon won't be too much. Yeah, so that was an obvious play.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised we're actually seeing this Raging Bolt stay in. It's not a bad play either if you feel like you need the Urshifu.
It's not a big deal. And more than anything else, it's like the Raging Bolt would have threatened coming back in and Draco Meteoring Miraidon, but it's not weak to it anymore. Like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I think it was nice to just pick up the last little bit of HP on hands.
And there's the Tailwind running out.
There you go.
So you can bring in Rillaboom here, I guess.
I think if you... I could see Josh's path here. You go for the fake out onto the Miraidon, you go for the body press onto the Miraidon, Terra Dragon, get rid of the Miraidon, and then it is Urshifu. Probably Rillaboom will go down. And then either Zamazenta and Urshifu or either Rillaboom and Urshifu against Iron Hands. That's a very good position if you're Josh.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the play. You just got to fake. And Miraidon is choice specs. Nothing it can do. It can't really touch you at all. And especially if you Terra Dragon on your Zamazenta, you're going to take a hit from Iron Hands for sure. I wonder what this Terra could be. Maybe it's Terra Dragon from Josh.
I think it might, in fact, be Terra Dragon Zamazenta.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
It's cool looking with the Terra Dragon on the Zamazenta.
That has one of the best Terra crowns in the game.
I think it is the best one.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
There is the fake out.
And body press will go before the Iron Hands.
And it picks up the knockout.
All right, now I see what Josh was doing now with that, sacrificing the Raging Bolt. You're like, okay, I have my path. I'm going to do that. Gonna save my Urshifu because I know it can outspeed the Iron Hands.
Drain Punch, little tickle against the Rillaboom. Picks up the knockout, but I think this one's over.
I think Joshua's got a very clear path to victory. There's nothing else that Sean can do. Gotta go for that Surging Strike. I believe Surging Strike. It is Focus Sash, though. Surging Strike's, I think, just slightly more than close combat. It's also not going to drop your defenses, but not that it would matter, considering the Urshifu is in the red.
Yeah.
But I would, yeah, you can pick whichever one you want. And then at that point...
Yeah, I don't think it matters too much, because both these Pokemon outspeed, and there's no way that these two Pokemon will not combine to pick up the knockout.
Props to Sean for just trying. Do get a little bit of information there.
The body press. We do know the body press does like half HP to...
There is one bit of information that if you are Sean, you're going to pick up from that last game, and that's why you play a lot of games out here. That Zamazenta, you're like, okay, it's faster than Urshifu, keeping that in mind. So that is something to note. Speed tiers are something that you can absolutely, more than ever in this format, Regulation F, or G, we're G, Regulation G.
I just went with it too.
Yeah, no,
I was accepted it being correct.
No, Regulation G for Glacial Lance. But no, I think you got to pay attention to speed tiers because so many Pokemon are speed creeping each other. Zamazentas are starting to speed creep other Zamazentas. Calyrex Ices are speed creeping other Calyrex Ices. It's a mess, actually, right now. There's so many weird speed tiers that are just being adjusted just to specifically outspeed other Pokemon. And we see it with that Zamazenta being faster than the Urshifu Rapid Strike generally. I've seen a lot of Zamazentas go for around base 150 at level 50. But this either this is a very bulky Urshifu, which it's definitely not considering its Focus Sash, or this is a speedier Zamazenta.
I think it's a speedier Zamazenta.
Yeah. Based on the Focus Sash.
I'm looking at their numbers at level 100 here because I have that in front of me. I think Urshifu is like Jolly max-ish speed, and Zamazenta is pretty speedy.
Which is another interesting fact is that this is...
But Zamazenta also just has gigantic base speed.
It does.
Like, deceptively high base speed.
Really...
And Urshifu, because we see it so much, we forget that it's kind of slow.
It is actually relatively slow.
It's like base 87 or something like that.
That's what Choice Scarf is... it's in just the right Choice Scarf range to outspeed Calyrex by 1 point.
Yeah.
Calyrex Shadow specifically, I mean. But yeah, but Focus Sash, like, it's usually 156, I believe. or 149, sorry. If it's adamant, 163. 156 is Kyogre. But yeah, so that is it is relatively slow in comparison to a lot of the format. For example, Ogerpon Cornerstone, that's going to outspeed it with ease.
Yeah.
Assuming that it is Jolly, I can tell from the... from
Forever and always, that Ogerpon will be outspeeding.
Yes. But I think if you're Sean here, you're thinking, I think you brought the right four. It just was a matter of positioning. I think you lead Maridon on Iron Hands, because that's going to give you fake out pressure to switch. And there that is. And I think Joshua brought maybe the right four. I'm still questioning the Raging Bolt a little bit. Could have maybe brought in Chi-Yu. It's threatened by the Cornerstone though, so I still think, like, yeah, you know what, Raging Bolt's fine.
Glad that we get the pop-up for Quark Drive, and then it drops off, and then we'll get the pop-up again for Quark Drive.
It's like, and now it's gone.
No, actually it wore off.
Yeah, I think if you're Maridon, you just Volt Switch, and then you fake out whichever one's more threatening. I think the Urshifu here is like, either switches or detects. You do not want to... I mean, actually, in theory, you could survive it, a fake out, and just...
Yeah, I wonder if you're Josh, if you want to get aggressive, try to get a fake out onto maybe even the Miraidon and just try to force it down, but...
Yeah. It's a very risky play if you do double target.
But then on Sean's side, like, okay, no fake outs from either of them. Shocking.
Volt Switch into the Rillaboom is the safer play, but I was thinking, like, if you're Josh...
Into the
like,
what? Oh, attacking the Rillaboom.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like out into the...
Oh, no. Volt Switch hitting
like,
Rillaboom.
Huh?
Searching Strike coming out. Yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like it's a very aggressive... You have to be very aggressive if you're Josh right now, because you're... Okay, fake out, like... Yeah, you could do that, but then my Urshifu survives. Why don't I just attack? They're not going to double target it, and that's exactly what happened.
Ooh. Oh, that did less damage than I thought it would. I always forget that Fairy Resist bug.
That is a weird resistance.
It's a very weird interaction.
It is a very weird resistance. It's a decent damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's still damage. It still breaks the sash that I assume that Whimsicott's holding. It doesn't actually. It's got cloak. I was wrong.
Ooh, Drain Punch into that
Drain Punch.
With that in mind, I think this is an interesting case. Sean is in a spot where you kind of have to Tailwind. There's not much you can do. The Drain Punch was a very nice play for the Iron Hands. But that Drain Punch, Tailwind Drain Punch is going to do enough. I believe we saw it outspeed the Zamazenta, which means the Zamazenta is not in the spot it wants to be in. We could Terra Dragon right away and just double target. That should get rid of the Iron Hands. But then you're putting yourself at risk to possibly lose one of your two Pokemon. So.
Also, well, I was going to say you could protect, but that is clearly not happening.
Drain Punch just pushing the Zama into the yellow. I think a double target, though, which is what it looks like Josh did, will KO the Iron Hands.
Close. Will certainly be close. Or just going to take out the Whimsicott, I guess.
I'm not sure that was the play that I liked. I mean, it's going to determine based on Aqua Jet. This is a focus Asher. Oh, goes for Close Combat instead.
I think that's a decent choice. It does a little bit more damage. Yeah, it does a little more damage than the Surging Strikes did. And now this next turn, like, you can... Well, Hands Out speeds the... It depends on read, I think. it's gonna be vibes based.
Pretty much.
'Cause somebody's protecting here.
Cannot go for discharge. I am actually thinking double up. This is actually not bad. If you double protect, if you're Josh, like, okay, I'm gonna stall. A, I'm gonna stall at the Trick Room. B, I'm gonna see what this Miraidon locks onto. There's the first protect. And then I think if you're smart, you just go like, yeah, okay. And then the plan right now, I think, is like, okay, let's stall at this Tailwind, and let's get this Rillaboom in. So
Draco.
Okay, I think that's not bad. If you're Joshua, you're like, you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna not have my Zamazenta get hit by that, so that's fun. And Zamazenta's not in a range where it will. I mean, it's gonna take a double hit on Sean's side on that Zamazenta to get rid of it. It's gonna survive a Drain Punch. That's gonna survive a Draco Meteor.
I don't know that it will under Quark Drive.
You gotta bring in Rillaboom into one of them. If you bring in Rillaboom into the Urshifu slot,
you gotta bring in the Rillaboom.
Just gonna go for it.
Ooh, just going for the Draco.
Oh, it does KO.
Pick up the knockout. Yeah. I'm not shocked that it picked up the knockout.
I was like,
that's a Draco Meteor.
It's resisted.
Yeah, it's resisted. It's at half HP.
Fair enough.
Drain Punch, gonna do a pretty good chunk. Urshifu doesn't have the most HP in the world, but Iron Hands is gonna gobble that HP back up. And Urshifu close combat into the Miraidon.
Oh,
Critical hit.
that critical hit is insane!
That's
You're
a
right.
huge critical hit.
I'm shocked at that.
That's a lot of damage there.
Well,
That changes this battle
it
significantly.
really does. There's one good thing
So
for
you can
Sean.
bring in the Rillaboom here if you're Josh. First things first, you can bring in the Rillaboom, take down the Quark Drive. Happy days.
I'm just curious how many turns of Tailwind this is left.
Let's call it 2?
1 or 2, yeah.
I just pick in a random number.
Sure, why not? I think
Urshifu can protect this turn.
yeah. There's a funny call here for Josh, which is, if Josh reads this and wood hammers into this ogre pawn, that would be hysterical, and I will be cracking up, and that would be very fun. Another interesting thing is if Raging Bolt is in the back, very good position for the Raging Bolt.
Yeah. Cornerstone's really cool. That's a cool mask.
I think it's actually my favorite mask of that one Terrestrial. I like the kind of spikes in the back.
Yeah. Ooh, went for the Aqua Jet into the Ogre Pawn. I actually like that quite a bit.
Yeah, breaking the sash is very important. Even though there's no sash anymore, it's still
Yeah,
a really good
sashless.
position.
Ooh, Ivy Cudgel not going to be enough. I like the decision.
Yeah. Josh
But
still
now,
in a really good
actually, this is a really good spot if you're Josh, I think.
Mhm.
You'll do some good damage to Ogre Pawn. Tailwind's down now.
That's important, I think. I think honestly, you just double up onto. I think you double up on Iron Hands, Grassy Glide it plus Surging Strikes, but oh no, I'm not sure that's great either. It's such a 50-50 call because this
Can
Ogre Pawn is
Grassy
faster.
Glide take out the Ogre Pawn?
It could, but if you Spiky Shield, then it will take out your own Rillaboom.
Risk I'm willing to take.
I don't think we're gonna
No
find out.
priority moves. Ogre Pawn's just going to Horn Leech into Urshifu, pick up the knockout.
Josh?
What will Rillaboom go for here?
Either U-turn or Woodhammer. It's Woodhammer.
It's Woodhammer.
Trying to pick up that KO.
And it will pick up the knockout. Will knock out Rillaboom in return. I think. Preface with I think. And at that point, it's going to be a 1v1 Raging Bolt against, probably against
Yeah,
Iron Hands.
it was like we don't know exactly if it's Raging Bolt.
We're not 100% sure. The thing on the right says it's Raging Bolt, and so I believe it.
If it is,
Iron Hands drain punches into the void. Train punches air.
it's like yeah. No, it is the Raging Bolt.
It is a Raging Bolt.
So
If you're a Raging Bolt, what is the choice for Raging Bolt here? Is it just go Terra Electric and
I
hit
feel like you just Terra Electric.
Terra
Thunderbolt.
Electric and hit Thunderbolt? I think that genuinely is the best damage
Yeah.
that you're gonna get here.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to drop your special attack. We saw how much Draco Meteor did. You want to chip it to at least half. So if Thunderbolts can do that, then you just go for, and then as soon as it's under half, you click the Draco Meteor button to, or you could just continuously go for Thunderbolts, but it's going to be recovering with Drain Punch. So I think the best bet is to just chip it to under half and then commit to the Draco Meteor. That might, I think
This
that's
may in
range.
fact take a minute. Not after Drain Punch
No.
and Grassy Terrain.
Oh,
Critical
that
hit on the
critical
Drain
hit.
Punch.
That mattered. That mattered. Now, even I think
This is wild. I don't think it drops to the next Drain
No.
Punch,
you gotta
but now you need a crit on like the.
go committing to the Draco Meteor. Not enough to KO. I think after the Drain Punch, it's not going to be enough to KO on the next turn as well.
Yeah. Ooh, and with the Life Orb damage. Is it enough?
that's the
It is,
knockout.
yeah.
I'm actually surprised we didn't see it protect just to chip the last little bit of grassy terrain.
Wild ending to that one. Wild entire battle to that one.
Yeah.
But Sean brings it back. To game 3 we go.
I think the best bet there for Sean was, bringing in that Iron Hands at the very start, putting Fake Out pressure to position better. I think that was kind of just the thing that really did Sean in game 1 was positioning. Leading with the Ogre Pawn wasn't necessarily the best for that Urshifu and Rillaboom lead. And so I think Josh played it right. Even though he didn't bring, Josh brought the right 4, just Sean outplayed the positioning. And I think Sean brought the right 4 and knows that this Fake Out pressure on hands is super valuable on turn 1. That's the positioning key. And so I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see Josh switch it up now, just to kind of be like, you know what, maybe you don't do this. But the thing with that is, Your switch up options are Chi-Yu and Tornadus, both of which are weak to Iron Hands. Both get pretty much obliterated by a Electro Drift.
I don't know that you can. I guess Tornadus would probably be the best option, but you know, this is an instance where it might be nice to have Protect on Tornadus instead of Rain Dance and Sunny Day.
I personally think the play. I like the idea
Could
of
like lead Raging Bolt.
yeah, leading Raging Bolt to threaten a Miraidon right away.
Not just to threaten Miraidon, but to stop it from using an electric move. Because if you do that with like Urshifu or something, what's it gonna do?
How much?
Not much.
I think actually that's a really nice lead because
I mean, Raging Bolt would probably drop. I mean, part of the question too is how much does close combat do to Miraidon normally? Like when it doesn't evaporate it with a critical hit.
From my experience, about 80%. If it is an adamant Urshifu, about 80%.
What happens if you go like Thunderclap?
I was thinking that.
Oh, that'd be so nice. Does Thunderclap do enough damage? Do it
in electric terrain?
Done?
But it's also 4x. But it's also 4x resisted.
Yeah, it's 4x. That's the thing. And Miraidon's not like.
Okay, well, frail. It's not gonna happen. It's
okay, that's not even close to what we had suggested.
Really interesting. There.
Not even close to any of what we were saying.
I thought we were gonna see Josh switch. Well, yeah, we did, but also Sean switch up. Gonna start with that grassy terrain. That's actually not terrible, but at the same time, I really don't care for this lead. I think you just body press into the Ogre Pond. There's not much that I can really do. Neither of these can do. And then you U-turn out or fake out. It is covert.
I think you probably. Oh yeah, it is covert cloak. I would have fake outed. I would have forgotten about covert cloak and just fake out.
Yeah, it's U-turns. I think
U-turn I think is better. Yeah.
I think you just body press into the Ogre Pond slot. What's it gonna do?
Oh, Whimsicott's out of there anyways.
This is probably gonna be Miraidon now.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think it's especially good if you do have something like.
But what if you double into the Ogre Pond slot?
I think that's a possibility. But we are gonna see something interesting.
What if you double into the Ogre Pond slot and do something crazy?
Ogre Pond Terra Rock.
We've seen so many Terra Rock Ogre Ponds. It makes me so happy.
I love it. I'm so happy. Rock Pond is one of my favorites.
I like Corner Pond a lot.
It is fun. And the question now becomes, does it take a body press at +1 versus a Zamazenta at +1? But it's going to launch the Ivy Cudgel out first. This is going to hit the Roll Boom. It should survive it with about 25%. Yep, just about.
Pretty close.
There's that body press.
There's the body press.
Oh, it's a one-hit KO! That Ogre Pond no longer dealing with anything. And I'm going to assume this is a U-turn on Rillaboom just to reset the terrain.
I think you're right, and there is the U-turn. Bouncing right out of there. That was a lot of damage. I didn't think Zamazenta was going to get that done. Yeah, it turns out the guy with really high defense that boosts his defense hits really hard with body press.
Today we learn.
Today we learn.
This is an interesting call. I actually like the idea of going Raging Bolt here. Yeah. Double Protect, lock that Miraidon onto something, and then you Terra accordingly. So.
I guess the danger here of double protecting is Whimsicott getting a free Tailwind, or even a free Light Screen, or I guess both technically.
I don't know if it really matters.
It doesn't matter that. Yeah. Oh, it's Whimsicott Encore.
Oh,
you can't protect here.
That is a very good tech there.
The actual concern. I had to think about it for a minute.
Yeah. I think you just go Terra Dragon. Oh, then you are putting yourself at risk to a Draco Meteor. Could switch to Rillaboom. Or could just stay in and switch to Rillaboom on the Raging Bolt slot.
I think that might actually be the best option.
Yeah,
I think you want to keep. I don't know. I'm I'm greedy in that way, but I always want to keep the Dauntless Shield boost.
Yeah, I would too.
And it just eats the Draco Meteor. Unreading. Great play by Josh.
It's comboed with a Moonblast. Was expecting
Moonblast.
Possibly.
Ooh, totally expecting the Terra.
Body press with 2 HP. And coupled with the Draco Meteor. That's fine.
That's totally fine for Josh. I mean, it's
I think this is
difficult for Sean to get through now because now you have a Whimsicott and an Iron Hands.
I think you body press once again onto the Iron Hand slot and just switch that Raging Bolt out because it's minus, and you want to remove that Quark Drive, so you just go into Rillaboom and fake out plus whatever. Especially if it is Urshifu, fake out plus Surging Strikes is going to be very, very fun.
I was thinking that exact thing. I do think that Zamazenta is going to drop this turn, though.
Yeah.
from the Tailwind Rain Punch.
It may take 1. Nope. Not
Yeah,
at that.
I don't know about that.
No,
Not at that HP, not with Quark Drive still up. And Raging Bolt didn't switch out.
which is kind of surprising to me.
Yeah.
Goes for another Draco Meteor.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. Can't get too greedy, I guess, if you're Josh.
Surprised. I thought Rillaboom was still a relatively safe switch in.
I agree with that, but you can switch it in now. If you just didn't want your Zamazenta, like you didn't care that much if your Zamazenta was around, then like whatever.
In before Chi-Yu is the last one, and it is not. Because we didn't actually see Rillaboom yet, did we?
No, Rillaboom led. It was Rillaboom Zama
Oh, it
lead.
was. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on. I thought for some reason I thought it was
Rillaboom.
Raging Bolt Zama. I don't know why that was in my head.
It's definitely Rillaboom.
It's Rillaboom. Oh, it would be so funny if it was Chi-Yu. Just because.
I
But
mean, the problem here, you have to switch out your Raging Bolt here. You can't just leave it in. It does nothing.
yeah,
I think you protect Urshifu and switch out. I don't know why you needed this turn to do that, though.
yeah. I think this
This is a weird choice. I don't think it's going to affect the outcome of the battle, but it's just strange. Oh, Rillaboom's lower in health than I thought it was.
Yeah, if the Drain Punch went into the Rillaboom slot, that's going to be very useful. Or even a Moonblast would be.
Yeah, if Sean
Scary.
read the obvious play of protect Urshifu, switch out Raging Bolt, this could be a turnaround. Moonblast? Nah.
I don't think so. Could be a Drain Punch.
Drain
though.
Punch?
It will connect.
Hey,
And knockout.
All right. Maybe this is winnable for Sean.
It's not over.
It's not. Yeah, it's not unwinnable.
I think
The concern here is that your can you stall out the Tailwind turn? I don't think you
know.
can.
I don't know if you really need to. I think the call is to just Surging Strikes plus.
The problem is that like
That's it. It's over.
Your
This game's
guy
Sean's. This game's Sean's.
I was gonna say the problem is that I totally forgot that.
We
that's
all
the thing you
forgot.
could
When's the
do.
cut encore?
We all forgot. We said it earlier is the crazy thing, and then we forgot about it.
That is why Rillaboom didn't switch in, I assume. The Drain Punch is going to do a decent chunk onto that Raging Bolt. If Raging Bolt doesn't crit the Iron Hands twice, then I think at that point that's it. This is going to go to Sean.
Yeah, I actually think that you might have actually needed to try focusing down the Whimsicott.
Yeah. If you leave Whimsicott up, it will be scary. It was scary.
Because I think the problem, Whimsicott's super effective against both these Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think it actually does better damage.
It's
not
got a
dramatically better damage, but like it does good damage.
It's got a deceptively high special attack stat.
Yeah,
And
for the
so-
fact that it's Whimsicott.
I'm assuming this is going to be Terra. Actually, I was going to say Terra Electric, but I
what's
don't
the
know.
thing?
Yeah, it's Terra Electric. I was like, oh, well, maybe Terra Grass to avoid wild charges, but it wouldn't make sense considering you're on Cord. So
Yeah.
you kind of just have to hope that
I mean,
you're
yeah,
minus.
you need to. That's the thing is that you need to like take down the Whimsicott. I think.
If you could crit this Iron Hands.
Because if the Whimsicott's still standing, yeah, that's the problem. Is that like Raging Bolt drops, and now the battle is over. Because once you break out of Encore, you get Encored again. I think you needed to try to get rid of the Whimsicott.
Yep. I think there's literally no. I believe even Encore. I was gonna say you could try to Aqua Jet if you're Josh and win with that. But even then,
yeah,
Encore's gonna outspeed.
Yeah, Encore's +1 as well, and the Whimsicott's faster than Urshifu. Probably. Almost certainly.
Yeah. And there's the cancel. Sean Pinto locking in the top cut. That was wild.
That was a very funny battle.
I don't even know how to describe that one. Zamazenta, I think the key in that match legitimately was not going for that heavy slam in game 3 against the Whimsicott and going for the body press on the Miraidon instead. It did live with 2 HP as well, and so that heavy slam may have changed things up, especially with Terra Electric Raging Bolt, so you can remove the Dragon weakness and Rillaboom in the back, but yeah, crazy match. Crazy match. And that's going to conclude our Swiss rounds for the day.
Indeed it will. We will take a moment to finish the 5th round and tabulate for a bit, and then we'll be back for the quarterfinal round. Don't go anywhere.